I'm a total fan of Google's NotebookLM, and I've been using it pretty consistently since I first found out about it in May of this year. And I've been constantly surprised by how few people actually know about this incredible AI tool. That was, of course, until a few weeks ago when they released their audio overviews feature, and now NotebookLM is just blowing up. And I'm so glad, because it's really been a super valuable tool, one of my most favorite AI tools. So considering I've been using it for the last couple of months, I thought it would be a great time to actually share some of the practical use cases that I've got in terms of using it in my work in digital marketing. And that's what I'm going to share with you in this video. First, let's get the technical stuff out the way. NotebookLM is what's called source-grounded AI. And what that means is that the AI actually becomes an expert on the documents that you upload. And that helps you to query these documents for specific insights or perform content analysis or create context-specific responses. So when we say the AI is grounded, what that means is it's trained on a limited set of information that is directly relevant to your task or needs. And that makes it more reliable, more focused, and more accurate for your specific task. In contrast to your more traditional AI models or LLMs like ChatGPT and Claude that pull information from large data sets trained on general web content, source-grounded AI has certain advantages. So because it focuses solely on the information that you upload, it ensures relevance, accuracy, and precision in its outputs. It's perfect for specialized tasks like research, writing, or analysis because of this. And then a more popular feature is its ability to create traceable results or very accurate citations. So you'll see these little bubbles. We'll show those in the demo soon. But this allows you to trace every answer or output back to where it came from in the original sources that you've uploaded. NotebookLM, being a Google product, is actually using Gemini as its underlying LLM model. So now I want to show you one of my most favorite use cases that I use Notebook for in my digital marketing work. So first, just getting into NotebookLM. Once you're at that link, you can just click on Try NotebookLM and log in with an existing Google account. One thing to note is NotebookLM was actually an experiment phase until this week. And since then, Google has closed off the experiment and has made NotebookLM an official app in the Google Workspace. So this tech is being broadly adopted within Google, and I think we're going to see some interesting advancements in this space. Once you're inside NotebookLM, you're going to be greeted with this screen. And the way Google works, or the way NotebookLM works rather, is you use notebooks. So we're going to click on creating a new notebook. Once you click on new notebook, you'll see that it asks you to upload your sources. So these are the files or information that you want to train NotebookLM on, that you're wanting to query or work with. As you'll see, it allows you to upload sources in all different formats. So it supports PDF, text, markdown, even audio. Audio is new, which is quite cool. Imagine using like voice notes. You could walk and talk to yourself and then upload a bunch of your voice notes to this and query what you were talking about, or just check in with the themes of what was going on for you in the last week with all your voice notes. I'm going to try that. But you can also connect it to Google Drive and upload Google Docs or Google Slides. It doesn't work with Sheets just yet. Hopefully they'll add that soon, and I think that'll be quite game-changing. It also works with links, so website or YouTube, and you can paste text directly into your notebook as a source. It says here that the source limit is 50. However, the most I've been able to upload, maybe this is a new thing as well, it could have changed in the last week as this tech does, but the most I've been able to upload is 30. And each document can be up to 200,000 characters in length, which is a huge data set. So if you've got 50 documents that are 200,000 word characters, that's a massive data set. In fact, one of the most popular use cases that came out of my Gen AI learning circle that I run was from a writer, and she was being asked to analyze a huge volume of company reports. She had to pull out certain statistics and certain quotes on a particular topic. And she'd been trying with no success using ChatGPT and Claude. And I told her to try NotebookLM, and it was able to do that. So if you are a writer and you're watching this and you're working with a whole bunch of very lengthy source documents in your research practice, NotebookLM is the best tool for that. If you're trying to extract specific data from big sets of data, or like multiple sources of data, because that's one of its powers, right? It allows you to query across multiple sources. So in this demo, I'm going to give you my use case now. And my use case is how I maintain language market fit in my marketing work by using NotebookLM to analyze customer interview data. So I created a bunch of synthetic data in ChatGPT because I couldn't use real interview data in this example. So these are my mock data sets that I created in ChatGPT. And what they are is they are 5 different interview transcripts of an agency owner who has interviewed their clients to understand their buying decision journey and their purchasing behavior. And we are now going to upload them into a notebook. So I added them, they're in text format. And I'm going to just title my notebook Customer Interviews September 2024. So now what it's done is we've got our 5 sources, or 5 transcripts of different interviews that have been had. If you click on the actual source, it will give you a summary and the key topics that were discussed in the source, and it will show you the actual text from the source there. Another one here is another example. Here's the summary and all the text in the interview. Okay. So now what we can do is we can have a real-time conversation with this data, which is just an incredibly powerful way to analyze your customer transcripts. So there are some preset things you can do that you'll see Notebook offers you. You could create an FAQ on the content. You could create a study guide, a table of contents, a timeline, which puts things in historical order, or a briefing doc. Cool briefing doc, that's a new one. This is the audio overview, which turns the sources into a podcast discussion using 2 AI avatars. This is the feature that blew up in the last few weeks. But what I really want to talk about is how we actually analyze the interview data and how I use it. So I upload my custom interviews, and then it can give you some suggested questions to get you started. But I might say, well, let's just use the suggested question here. What common challenges did clients face before seeking our marketing services? So if we ask that question, it will spit out a response. It'll go directly to the sources, analyze the content, and find for us where that discussion was had. So here we go. It said that here are some common challenges that clients face before seeking marketing services based on the interviews: lack of strategic marketing, difficulty reaching the right audience. And earlier when I was talking about traceable results and citations, that's what you can see here when you hover over the little numbers. It actually shows you in context, in source, where that discussion actually happened. So you can consistently verify the insights that it's giving you, which is particularly important when it comes to citations, because citations are always contextually relevant and accurate. So you can always sense check the information yourself by going back and revisiting where in the conversation did that happen. Is this accurate? If you need to. So now it gives us a bunch of insights from the transcript. I'm going to take it another step further. I'm going to say, tell me about the biggest motivating factors these clients have. Okay, so it's going to do the same thing and spit out a bunch of information about that. Now, what I would typically do with this information is I would take it out of NotebookLM and I would probably use it in ChatGPT or Claude to help me with a specific marketing task, like a new landing page or a new email or something. And I will give ChatGPT and say, these are some of the insights from my customers, help me do X. I will share another video around that process soon, and I'll link it in the description below, but that's out of scope for this demo right now. So just coming back, here it spits out again the need to remain competitive, the desire for business growth. It's giving me some of the motivating factors. Now, why do I take the data outside of NotebookLM and use like ChatGPT and Claude? It's just because I don't find that NotebookLM is as creative, or I want to say as generative, as the likes of ChatGPT and Claude, because of the technology being focused on being quite accurate and factual and direct. So I prefer the kind of outputs that I can get when I pull these insights into other LLMs. However, you can still do the work inside the NotebookLM if you wanted to. So for example, if I said, write me a sales email using these insights to sell my agency's services to a new lead in cold outreach. So I'm going to give it a task and it'll spit out an email for us using these insights. So why this is particularly powerful is that it helps me maintain language market fit in all the marketing work that I do. So it essentially keeps my customer insights alive, and I can come to this notebook whenever I want to understand something about my customers and their psychological buying processes. And that means all of my marketing work is customer informed, which is best practice marketing. So it's a really powerful supporting and enabler for digital marketers to keep their customer insights alive and secure that language market fit, which is so critical for effective digital marketing. And I want to talk about my second use case, which is for finding gaps in our content and in our nurturing. So finding content opportunities to address questions that we may be overlooking or pain points that we may not be addressing early enough in a customer's education and research process. So what I do in this instance is I've got actually a notebook already created for this context because I can use this data to show you. These are publicly available webinars that we run as part of our marketing efforts. So I work in EdTech and we sell online programs, online career accelerators. What I've got in this notebook are the transcripts from Ask Me Anything webinars that we host with past learners. So, and as well as one last webinar transcript, which is just a Q&A with an enrollment advisor in our team. So this isn't a live notebook that I'm using, again, just for illustrative purposes, but you could upload up to 50 different transcripts of webinars that you are hosting, events, or even sales transcripts. You could do a sales transcript analysis to identify content opportunities. So in this case, I've uploaded those transcripts, and what I want to do in this instance is actually ask NotebookLM to please give me an extensive list of the most frequently asked questions in the sources. So in this context, I'm trying to pull out all of the questions that were asked live during the events. So I can do this instead of going back and rewatching the event or having to attend the event live. I can just upload the transcripts and find certain things that happened during the event that I'm looking for. So in this case, I'm looking for the questions that were asked. So here we go. Here are the most frequently asked questions along with their answers. So is the Data Analytics Career Accelerator program right for me? And it gives me an output. And will the Data Analytics Career Accelerator program help me get a job? What have past students got on to do? And again, it shows you in discussion, where did this get spoken about? What was the answer? So you're constantly validating the outputs. So this is really powerful. We can see what the conversation is out there in terms of what our audience is looking to have answered. And we can now take this data and create amazing content and nurturing that helps address some of these questions or preempt some of these questions being asked. Again, another powerful marketing application. So like I said, you could do this for sales transcripts as well. You can analyze sales call data and get insights that can help you be more proactive in your marketing messaging and nurturing efforts, or even in your top of the funnel advertising. You could preempt some of the questions that people might be asking later on down the funnel. So really interesting to query your event data. And also, like I said, it's really useful because you don't have to go back and rewatch events. One other way we use it for events content is if I am wanting to take a specific outtake and get a testimonial from an event, or use, repurpose the content in a micro format, I can query certain things like where in the transcript did they talk about X, Y, and Z, and give me the time code or just give me the location, and I can go and find that exact snippet quite easily and give my design agency direction as to, I want you to go to this time code and extract that specific piece of content and repurpose that into a short form video. And now for my final use case, and that is really for competitive analysis, which I think is kind of an obvious one. But in this instance, again, I'm not going to demo using real data, but hypothetically, we're going to use some websites in this context. So what I'm going to say is I want to do a competitive analysis on coffee shops. So I'm going to insert, that's my first link, and then I'm going to insert another one for Starbucks. There we go. And I'm going to insert one more for another coffee shop that's popular here in South Africa. And, oops, wrong one. Source. Here we go. So this is another use case that I have, is I like to check our positioning versus some of our competitors to understand gaps. So I will come along and upload our marketing collateral and our competitors' marketing collateral, and I will have NotebookLM compare the two and give me data around how different products are being positioned, and then look at, are we being positioned accurately against competitors? So to give you an illustrative example, here I've got 3 different websites, so you could use websites, or you could actually upload collateral, marketing collateral of your competitors, compare it to yourselves. But now we've got the 3 websites. It's given us some cool suggested questions like, what are the unique selling propositions and target demographics of these 2 coffee companies? It's actually 3, so I'm not sure why it's only picking up 2, but let's give that one a go. And it will start giving you some detailed information around the positioning of the competitors. Again, then you can pull this data out, or you can use it within NotebookLM, but I've already explained that I prefer to pull it out and use it in a different tool. But here it's broken down. Bootleggers, what they believe the USPs are, and the target demographic, and the same for Starbucks. For some reason, it's not actually pulling through the Vita one, but probably there's something wrong with the URL. It's not reading in text. But you can imagine that if you do this with your own company versus competitors, you can pull this into ChatGPT or to Claude and say, audit my marketing positioning against this and help me identify gaps in our positioning that could be strengthened, etc. So this is another powerful way that I like to use NotebookLM to help me constantly check our positioning. One final interesting fact is that I know the new audio overviews is a feature that has got NotebookLM a lot of attention. That feature has been around for quite a long time, actually, through a different experiment that Google's been running called Illuminate, which you can access at illuminate.google.com. And it's all about transforming content into engaging AI-generated audio discussions. And it's also still in experiment mode like NotebookLM was. But in this context, it's being used to in an educational capacity to help teach people technical subject matter. So you can see all of the different examples that it's got uploaded. It's quite technical, like switch transformers and the anatomy of large-scale hypertextual web search engines. So really interesting application to help more technical subject matter become more accessible and digestible and understandable, I guess. So just a fun fact that this tech has been around for a while, and I think it was a smart move on Google's behalf to actually add it as a feature to NotebookLM and generate huge amounts of hype and interest in NotebookLM itself. But I think we're going to see some very cool stuff coming out of the Illuminate experiment as well, so watch this space. So that's the end of my video on NotebookLM and my use cases. I hope these inspire you to think about your own use cases. If you are currently using NotebookLM for something cool and interesting in digital marketing or in a related industry, please do share your use case in the comments below. I'd love to learn from you as well. And if you're interested, I run a weekly Gen AI learning circle for free where we talk about cool tech like NotebookLM, and we just learn about Gen AI in a safe and supportive environment for 1 hour a week. So I'll paste the link to apply to join us in the comments down below. So looking forward to having you come and learn along with us.